one of the biggest things, and I talk about this all the time, is why I wrote my book, Blood Sugar Doesn't Lie. And it's a crucial part and foundational piece of everything we do with our patients. Number one would be to keep the blood sugar as stabilized as possible. And so a lot of people are worried about diabetes, which is a high blood sugar state. But it's not even so much the high blood sugar state, it's the swings. And so if you were going to be poking your finger and checking that blood sugar, keeping that blood sugar 85 to 110 all day, every day is going to be crucial for keeping inflammation low, for not stimulating autoimmune, for preserving your brain. And this is what we get to see. I always say, if we could keep everybody's blood sugar 85 to 110 all day, every day, we could reverse or prevent 90% of chronic conditions and chronic diseases. And I tell you what, from being on social media, we've got almost 500,000 followers on all our social media platforms. And I get to hear from them every single day. And there's teenagers and 20-something-year-olds and 30-something-year-olds that have multiple autoimmune diseases, that feel horrible, that have gut issues. And they're not even thinking about how can I have the longest life possible. They're thinking about in this moment. And almost all of those we would be able to reverse or prevent if someone would just start with that basics of getting their blood sugar stabilized. So with each one of our patients, we use a continuous glucose monitor. And if everybody had a continuous glucose monitor on them, it would be amazing what people would learn how to keep that blood sugar from spiking up and crashing down. So number one would be to stabilize that blood sugar. Two would be movement, and movement is crucial, especially as people age. As you get over 60, as you get over 70, 80, you have to keep moving. Just like my mom that had MS, and she's up on the roof blowing out the gutters. And I asked my dad if that's safe. And he's like, well, I asked her too. And she said, well, she's more agile than most 80-year-olds. And it's true, but it's because she moves every day. She does exercise. She goes out for walks. She does strength training, does burpees and planks and a lot of different movement. So movement is life. And so many people, we're even seeing it now, that so many people are sedentary. And it's just as problematic as smoking. So a sedentary lifestyle, sitting for work all day, every day, is just as damaging as smoking every day is. And you can't just go and exercise for 20, 30 minutes to make up for that. You've got to get up and move. You got to have a standing desk. You've got to go out at lunch and go for walks. You've got to be moving. And that's really, really important to keep that blood flow going, to keep your metabolism going. And it actually helps keep your blood sugar stabilized as well. So blood sugar, movement, getting actual sunlight. So many people have gotten afraid of sun, and yet it's this big orange ball in the sky that has been there since we've been around, and it is crucial for vitamin D. It's crucial for our sleep cycles and for melatonin. And obviously, you don't want to go out and get burnt every day or look like the late old lady in Florida with the leather skin, but you've got to get sun. You've got to get sun even into your eyes, and not wear sunglasses a little bit every day out in the sun. That's where you absorb your vitamin D. That's where you're going to get a lot of these nutrients from. So getting out and getting actual sunlight every day is really, really important. Having the right type of diet for you, not the right diet, because there is no right diet for everybody, but the right diet for you is going to be the fourth thing that we look at here. So you've got to figure out what is best for your body that's not going to create inflammation, that's going to allow you to have regular bowel movements. You should be going 1 to 3 times every single day, and they should be well formed and feeling good through there with no other GI distress. You shouldn't be inflamed. Your ring should come off okay. You shouldn't have bloating or any type of inflammation throughout the body. And for most people, that involves some type of good lean animal protein, a bunch of good vegetables, and really good quality fats, and then maybe a little bit of fruit here and there. And that is that foundational piece. And then people are able to expand off of that, what is best for them. Is it okay for their blood sugar? Is it okay for their inflammation? All those things. So finding that ideal diet for you is going to be number 4. Number 5 is working on the gut. And every day you've got to be thinking about your digestive tract. And again, are you having daily bowel movements? Are you getting enough water? Water is actually really important for having those daily bowel movements. Have you been on multiple antibiotics in your lifetime? If you have, you need to probably be on probiotics for the duration. And that could also be probiotics from fermented foods. So you can be eating sauerkraut and kimchee, different types of nutrients that way. You need to be working on your gut lining, which would be collagen and bone broth. And again, fermented vegetables, but also glutamine and marshmallow root and aloe vera juice, things where we get what's called leaky gut. And that's going to be driving, and it's going to be one of the foundation pieces that's driving this autoimmunity that we see in people, this inflammation we see in people. So, those, if people did that day in and day out and focused on those things, it would be way easier to be healthy and live to 80 or 90 than to live to 80 or 90 and sit in a retirement home or old people home and just, drool in the corner and not even be aware of what's going on. Those are foundational things. You can be healthy, but be anxious and be stressed out, and a bunch of different symptoms coming from that, which really makes life not much fun, even if you are healthy. So couple things that I've found very, very helpful. One of them is to get outside, get into nature. And whether you live in New York City and you got to go to the park and kind of wander around in City Park, or you live out in the country or in suburbia, whatever it is, you've got to find your place where you can be walking in the grass, be around the trees. For me in Colorado here, every Friday I go up into the woods, into the mountains, and get that quiet time and shut it down, get away from the hustle and bustle. And in today's day and age, it's even more important to do those things, and even to leave your phone behind or turn it off. We are so driven by just this technology and constant stimulation. For the last 50 years, people have kept saying, hey, once we get enough technology, once we get these computers, once we get these cell phones, once all these things, then we're going to be able to slow down. Our life's going to be easier. But if anything, our life is just sped up. And that speed really, when you look at just that stress of fear of missing out and all these things, that it actually shortens our telomeres. Telomeres are part of what helps us live longer and healthier. And the shorter your telomeres, the less likely you are to live a long and vibrant life. And so stressing and that stressing and that chronic, oh my gosh, worrying about the next thing, those are all really going to shorten those telomeres. So it is a major thing to step back. I even talk about taking a Sabbath. If you look at the Judeo-Christian religion, they have a Sabbath where okay, hey, we're going to shut down the day. I read my kids Little House on the Prairie books, and they, on those Sundays, they would sit there. They couldn't play with anything. They couldn't laugh or talk much of anything. And there's actually value in slowing down the brain, slowing down the body, whether it's for a 4-hour block, an 8-hour block, anything. It's going to be very, very helpful.